What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another exhilarating episode of Lockdown 23 and 1. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we got some pretty spooky stories pertaining to inmates killing their own cellmate. Look, in jail, it can be pretty treacherous when it comes to having a cellmate. You never know who's going to come your way. Definitely more so over here in the East Coast, but your cellmate's very important because that's who you're going to be living with. And if you ain't clicking with the guy, sooner or later, y'all are going to put hands on each other. Usually when I go into a cell with a new cellmate, I can tell within a few days if we're going to have issues later on down the road. Now, there's some places that will put you in a cell and that's where you're stuck at. You ain't getting moved unless you know tricks of the trade. And then there's other facilities, usually in prison, not so much in jail, where you can pick your cellmate, write to counselor or whatever and request to be moved into the cell with that person. And chances are you can make it happen. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. The first story is about a situation just like that. But it gets really wild, ladies and gentlemen. So if you enjoy this type of content, all things lockup related, do not forget to hit the like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave. And check out the vast wealth of content in the playlist section for you and your cellmate to start binging to today. Derek Romano was serving a 55-year prison sentence for killing a 49-year-old pizza delivery driver. They found the man's body in the basement of a home. Jeremy Roberts was his accomplice in this murder. Now, Roberts was serving a 68-year prison sentence for the same crime, and they just so happened to have shipped both of them to the same prison to do time. Like I said in the beginning of the video, you can request to get into people's cells, and when these guys found out they were in the same prison, they decided to put in to get into the same cell. On May 3rd, Mr. Roberts was found dead in his bunk. Romano told investigators that the two inmates were drinking homemade wine the night before and arguing over stupid stuff, when all of a sudden he lost control, beating Roberts to death with his hands and feet. Roberts suffered injuries to his head and neck. Blood was found splattered throughout the cell. Romano had blood and bruising on his feet, so he was kicking him so hard that he left bruises on his own feet. Now, if that wasn't creepy enough for you, it says Romano left notes on the wall of his cell. One read, "Time of death, 10:30 p.m." And the other said, "Pray for the man who died here, for he lived and died a better man than me." Romano pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter in Roberts' murder in exchange for dismissing the murder charge. But it's crazy to think, right? Look, I've done stuff like this where I found out one of my homeboys was in the prison I was in. Never made it to the same cell as him, but we were in buildings very close to where we could go to the fence and talk to each other and stuff like that. But it's crazy to think that these guys committed the same murder and they were shipped to the same prison. In a lot of prisons, they're going to keep codees kind of separated, and if they are in the same prison, they're definitely going to be in different buildings. This is for prisons that are actually running how they're supposed to run. But even if you do make it to that same prison, if you wanted to get into the cell with them, like I said in the beginning, you're going to have to send a request form to the counselor, and it's the counselor's duty to check the background of both cellmates. See if there's anything in there that could possibly be a red flag to make them say, no, you cannot go in a cell with this person. And usually, if both y'all killed someone on the streets together, you're not more than likely going to be in the same cell together in prison. It's just a security risk. Y'all could plan some more murders or escape. Y'all know each other. Y'all are close. And that's definitely not what prison establishments want. So this guy got lucky getting into this cell with this person. And really, the counselor should be held accountable as well. Chances are the counselor gets a bunch of these things a day and, gets fed up with them and just rushes through it. And next thing you know, the cellmate killed him. But either way, it's a crazy story. And just imagine the CO walking in and seeing that on the walls. If I was the one to get locked up in the cell and I read that on the wall, I would probably say to myself, it's just, propaganda. Some other inmate didn't really kill nobody, just wanted to write something creepy on the wall. In all actuality, dude died there a few hours ago. Crazy situations that could very well happen in the penitentiary. Next up, I got a clip for you coming from, I believe, Sacramento. An inmate is accused of killing his cellmate, but he wants to give his 2 cents to the news crew because he says he didn't do it.
Ernest Cellmates.
Thank you. This call may be recorded and is subject to monitoring at any time.
Hello?
So, they say you killed another inmate in here. What happened?
It wasn't put it like that. Another inmate passed away. It was my cellmate.
Hold on, man. I didn't catch that. Look, let me break something down to you. I'm going to be completely honest with these reaction videos, all right? Almost all the videos, I breeze through just a bit to see if it is going to be in some way, shape, or form exhilarating to y'all. and informative at the same time. Anybody who doesn't briefly go through it, they're going to be sitting there all damn day for probably nothing, because the video turns out to be nothing. But I never watched these things completely through, and when I breezed through this one, I definitely didn't notice the reporter say, "So you're accused of killing another inmate." That changes my whole view on this guy's story on this one. I almost believed him a bit, like someone possibly set him up or something like that, but to be accused of another one before that, I doubt someone set him up twice.
There wasn't no, I didn't murder the guy or try to murder the guy or have nothing to do with it. Like I told the deputy, I slapped the guy, he fell. That was what I had to do with it. I woke up in the middle of the night. They found out he was dead when I found out he was dead.
Did you know anything about him?
Nope.
Did you know he was a sex offender?
I did not know none of that. I didn't know any of it until the deputy asked me about it. I mean, well, I kind of had a feeling because he was sitting there hitting on me. I didn't know what he was in there for still. I know he had some. I didn't know he was in there for any children.
The reporter ain't got time for bullshit. He came out strong. So you mean to tell me you didn't know he was a sex offender? He had no idea, but things started smelling fishy when the guy started hitting on him. There's going to be one or two things going on with this situation. Either he's completely innocent, yes, he ain't killed nobody, or he's a complete maniac.
I mean, well, I kind of had a feeling because he was sitting there hitting on me. I didn't know what he was in there for still. I know he had some. I didn't know he was in there for any children. That's why I don't really even care anymore. I care. I don't want to take anybody's life, but I don't care if somebody like that's dead. But I ain't no murderer. I wouldn't kill anybody. I wasn't never raised up like that. I raised up in a Christian home all my life, to treat everybody the same. I open hand slapped him. It wasn't no punch. I couldn't punch because I hadn't broke hand myself when I came in here, so I just opened hand. And he fell back. He had all the stuff there. He was standing on his mattress and his blanket, and I don't know if it's because he tried to move back and he got tangled up in him, so he just fell on back or what it was, but he fell backwards after I slapped him.
Now, I don't know if it's because he reminds me of a buddy that I used to drink beers with at the bar that was probably one of the most friendliest guys in the world. But this was the point where I started to kind of believe him, man. It's just, I don't know, he doesn't look like a killer at all. But with him being accused of another one, that's kind of creepier.
But he had already cut his head earlier because he slept underneath the desk. So he already cut his head earlier that day, which they thought that I did that one too. And I said, no. I said, he hit his head already. Just like he had already fell in a couple times in the pod that day, and he fell into the toilet,
God.
But he wouldn't stand up to go to the bathroom. He was lazy, man.
Oh, man, this guy definitely took that guy's life. For sure. He's already complaining about how lazy of a guy he is. He knows exactly where he got beat up and bruised all throughout the pod. I don't know, man. I don't know. This guy is tricky. He's got kind of the humble voice and the face to where you would think he's telling the truth. I don't know, to me at least. Like I said, I had that good friend I used to drink beers with. That might be the reason why I'm leaning that way. Let's say me and him were in a lineup and we both had the same exact stories, but you had to figure out who was telling the truth. Would you pick him or me? Most people probably pick him. I mean, my name's Death. Off to 23-1 I go.
He was lazy, man. You get your feet out the floor. He didn't move his feet. I said, hey. I kicked him again. And deputy was out there. I was sitting there, and that's when I started pushing him up, and I knew something was already wrong because I looked down at his face, and his lips was kind of blue and stuff like that. And so I already did everything that she said. She said, see, try to move him over. So I did. I said, I already did that. She said, put your finger under his nose. I said, I did. Said, he ain't breathing. She said, yeah, he's breathing. I see his stomach moving. I said, he ain't moving. I said, his stomach ain't moving. She says, I see him moving. I see the blankets going up and down. She walked away. So I went over there and I started pushing the button again, and I finally got the deputy at the desk, Youngberg. I said, hey, man, I said, there's something wrong. I said, somebody needs to come in here. I said, he ain't breathing. I said, he ain't moving. I said, she thinks that his stomach's moving. I said, and she walked away. I said, there's something wrong with him. So he called her back in there to come back, open the cell, and checked on him.
Alright, so this is going to get kind of deep, right? Already since the beginning, I kind of feel like he's a pathological liar. So even though what he's saying right now sounds like a situation that could really happen in prison where the female CO said and did all that and then walked away, keep in mind a lot of inmates can paint a story for you and you would have no idea that it's completely false. The most snake-like and manipulating type of individuals I've ever seen were in prison. So you always got to keep that in the back of your head. I'm not saying what he's saying is, I'm just saying there's a possibility. But if this guy's story is true, that's pretty damn treacherous for her to just walk away.
So how long did it take for them to come and open the cell and check him?
Oh, good half hour. Good half hour. They don't answer these emergency buttons here for nothing, man.
And you kept pushing, trying to get help?
I was pushing that button so many times and I was whistling. I could whistle pretty loud, you know, with my fingers. And as that going through the cell, other people heard me. I didn't hurt that guy like that, man. I get along with everybody. There ain't a person in this world I don't get along with. And murdering somebody, that's just on a whole different book, dude.
A lot of y'all out there might be believing everything this man's saying, but I'd say probably like 25% of what he said was true, if I were to guess. But let me know in the comment section what you think, and I'm going to try to find more on this situation, see if he was even charged officially for both of those murders. But hopefully you enjoyed and learned a few things about living with individuals in prison. It's a very tricky and scary situation sometimes. This was just 2 stories out of probably 15 to 20 I got of inmates killing their cellmate. Some stories are a little bit older than others, but it's still happening to this day. So really the best thing for anybody to do out there is to stop committing crimes so you don't have to go to prison and worry about sleeping next to a stranger. But as always, I salute every last one of you been supporting me since the beginning and everybody who's just now joining the lockdown compound. Y'all be easy, be safe, and stay free. And as always, I salute every last one of you been supporting me since the beginning and everybody who's just now joining the lockdown compound. Y'all be easy, be safe, and stay free.